So it's a much cooler day today here in Danang, Vietnam. I'm just heading down to My Khe Beach, my favorite spot. I'm going to turn right down the bottom here, show you guys what it's like on the beach in February 2023, end of the month, last day of February today. And today's video is going to be about pros and cons of living in Danang, Vietnam in 2023. So as you can see beside me, folks, the waves are really picking up today. We've had like maybe a week or so of beautiful weather, and then the weather's turned again. It's about 22 degrees today, which I quite like, nice and cool. But it's pretty kind of overcast, and the sea's a little bit too rough to go swimming at the moment. So it's okay though, because I can walk on the beach. It's not too hot, and it's great. Good weather for exercising. So what are some of the pros and the cons of living in Danang in 2023? How does it compare to the mega cities like Saigon and to a lesser extent Hanoi? Well, let's get into it, folks. So if you're new to my channel, folks, my name's Chris. I've been living in Vietnam as a foreigner, as an expat for almost 8 years now. I have quite a lot of experience. I've lived in Saigon for over 4 years. About 2 months ago I moved up here to Danang. The main reason for that was to get away from the traffic, the heat, the noise of a big city, and to live, you know, a slightly more relaxed lifestyle near the beach. And that's pro number one today, folks. So for me, is being able to live here by the ocean, and of course being able to do this, walk, you know, 5, 6, maybe even 10 if I'm feeling like it, kilometers every day on the beach is fantastic. Pro number one of the best things about living in Danang is accessibility to the beach and being able to exercise every day without too much air pollution. What are some of the other pros of living in Danang? Well, it's a relatively small city, and it's great for someone like me who loves to cycle. If you've been following my channel, folks, you can see that I tend to ride around on my e-bike. Most of my videos are done on my bicycle, electric bicycle, riding around, giving you commentary about wherever I am and my opinions on what's going on in Vietnam and around me, etc. But Danang's really great for that kind of lifestyle. Pretty much totally flat. Obviously there are mountains up there behind me, but I haven't ventured up there yet. But if you like exercising, walking, running, cycling, it's a great spot for that. And generally on the whole, it's a more healthier place. It feels more healthy. The air feels cleaner. It's not actually that great, the air. There is some air pollution here. It still hovers around 50 or 60 AQI, which isn't great, but it's still much better than the 150, 160 or 200 plus that you may typically see in Hanoi or Saigon. Because it's a smaller city, there's quite a nice sense of community. So I've made some good friends here from all over the world, which is really cool. And you know, compared to when I lived in Saigon, I was kind of in my apartment, so much traffic, so much noise, you just don't tend to go out so much. Yes, I had a nice apartment there and I like staying there, but I think here, you know, it's more kind of feeling to go out and do things and to meet people, and I think that's important. And you know, it's good to lead a balanced life and get out and meet people, and I've been able to do that in Danang and meet some great folks, which is cool. That could potentially be a negative for some people though. Small town feel, everybody knows everybody else, you know, a lot of expats here, you tend to get to know a lot of the foreigners here especially, and you know, not everyone likes that, so something to bear in mind. So what are the negatives of living here up in Danang? Well, extreme weather is definitely one of them. So for example, we've had sort of 28, 29 degrees, and then it's dipped back down to 19, 20, maybe 21 today. But it's kind of this time of year, going into March, the weather's kind of all over the place, and it's rainy, windy one day and it's sunny the next. It's kind of like a city of extremes, and when you get into June, July, that sort of time, you're looking at 34, 35 degrees every single day. It gets scorching hot, so that's particularly unbearable. Also, winter time here, from say October-ish through to start of February, again pretty wet, windy, typhoon season. So talking to my friends here, a lot of them actually move out. Like some of them move to Thailand. If they're working remotely, they will move to somewhere else like Thailand during those months, and then just come back maybe start of February for 4 or 5 months, catch the sweet spot in the weather, and then move on to somewhere else. So I think Da Nang really has the same kind of negative issues that you would experience throughout Vietnam. So things like trash, noise and pollution are big ones. Dangerous roads and bad driving is a real thing here. I'm particularly subject to it because I ride a bicycle, so I go around the city on my bicycle and it's as if I don't exist. Driving is particularly bad here, especially car drivers. I mean, my Vietnamese friend was actually telling me that there's a lot of new money, like nouveau riche here. People have made a lot of money in the last 10, 12 years from property. One of the first things people do when they get a little bit of money here is go out and buy a car, because a car is very much a status symbol here in Vietnam. Of course, they don't tend to have much driver training at all here, if any, I believe. And any that they do have is kind of off-road on private land, so you're just unleashed onto the road and it's just chaos. So yeah, I mean, I'm glad I got reasonable health insurance, but fingers crossed I won't have to use it anytime soon. So as I mentioned, noise pollution is a real issue generally in Vietnam. If you're someone who's sensitive to noise, which I must admit, it's really tricky to be able to find a quiet place to live. There's a lot of construction everywhere, and the construction doesn't really adhere to any timings throughout the day. You know, 7 days a week, 6 a.m. to 8 p.m, 9 p.m. But not just construction noise, you've got a lot of karaoke, especially here in Da Nang. It seems to have a more local feel, similar to the Mekong, where it's just, you know, street karaoke all the time, which is kind of funny at first, but then it gets a little bit annoying after a while. Roosters and dogs, it's ubiquitous again in Vietnam. People keep roosters everywhere on the streets outside their house, on their balconies. And same with dogs, like barking dogs are a real annoyance here, because it's not really the dog's fault, but people just don't walk dogs here. I never see anybody, you know, walking a dog. Exercising a dog seems to be a foreign concept, and dogs are just kind of used to, well, I don't know what they're used for. They're just kind of tied up or left on balconies for 10 hours, and of course they're going to be frustrated. They're going to bark and make noise, and yeah, it's a little bit sad to see. I was thinking about going knocking on my neighbour's door, offering to take her dogs for a walk, give them a bit of pleasure, but I don't know, my friend said that's not a good idea. So there we go. Another thing I've noticed living here is it's kind of not really a con, not really a pro, just kind of in the middle, I suppose. It's very much a cash city. So yes, you can use card in the hotels and bigger restaurants, but most of the smaller restaurants, most of the smaller shops, they only want cash. Or you can do bank transfer. If, like me, you've got a local Vietnamese bank account, you can easily just do bank transfer. But most tourists obviously don't have that, and they have to pay in cash. And the demographic of tourists here at the moment is Korean. There's a lot of Koreans and Indians, and Koreans typically like to tap to pay with their phones. I've sat in many restaurants and a couple of bars over the past couple of months, and I've seen quite big arguments. People arguing using Google Translate, let's just say, and then having to go into a taxi, go to an ATM to get money because the restaurant only accepts cash. And this is like some of the quite big restaurants as well. So if you're going to come here, guys, be prepared. You can get cash at a gold shop, and don't exchange cash in your home country. Bring euros, pounds, dollars here and exchange it here, because you get a much better rate inside the country. Some nice villas here as I walk further south up towards Hoi An along My Khe Beach. I mean, this is lovely, having the beach almost to myself this time of day. Nobody else around. So I'm going to end on a positive note today, folks, as I normally try to do. So almost 3 months ago, when I made the decision to come to Danang from Saigon, if I had my time again, would I have stayed in Saigon? No, I definitely wouldn't. I still think Danang is a great spot. It has great potential. If you like smaller town living, you're willing to put up with some perhaps minor inconveniences. And if you know Vietnam already and you know how things flow here, how things work, then it's fine. If you're new to Vietnam and you're expecting Miami Beach or Dubai, something like that, no, it's definitely not going to be for you. But like I said, if you know Vietnam, you know things move at a slow pace, you can take your time, settle in, then yeah, I would definitely recommend it. I'd also say if you are into healthier living, if you like to be, you know, by the ocean, be able to exercise outside every day, on the beach, yeah, it's a great spot. So take it easy, folks. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, wherever you are in the world. See you soon.